supervisor always helped me, Professor Dr. S.F. Chandrasekhar sir. And also, I thank Dr. Kavita ma'am in a short notice. Coming for the seminar. And also, I thank Dr. Sridhar for coming for this presentation. And also, I thank Dr. Ramaya sir because even he was not there in the university, but still he supported a lot. He supported in other ways too. So I thank him very much. So uh, now I'm going to present on my study. My title is a comparative study of level stress of mothers having children with autism and mental retardation. Uh, I just give the brief description here. In this chapter, we present retrospective and perspective data on stress, burnout, coping mechanisms, and also on the autistic and the mental retardation. Now, the mental retardation is also called as intellectual disability. Now, the term is used much, but when I started this, like in 2013, I did not think about all that. So the title was mental retardation. Uh, and there was a review of literature in this. I have reviewed key prior investigations that's both theoretical and empirical validated national and international studies. And it has like four contents there. The first, the factors that influence the stress, and in the second theme, the determinants of stress of mothers, like so, and also. And the third one is the review of studying mother's coping skills. And the fourth one is linking between the stress and coping methods. And coming to the research methodology, uh, here in the research methodology, we have two parts. One is describing the research design, and the part B will be the respondents' profiles. So my research is a descriptive and analytic research approach was utilized to compare the level of stress and burnout among mothers of autistic and mental retardation children. Now, statement of the problem: having autistic and mental retardation children presents unique problems for mothers. The current study, which compares stress levels among caregivers of children with mental retardation and autism, will shed information on mother stress, burnout, aspirations, and social support in the Hyderabad twin cities. And the objectives are: the first objective is to assess the level of stress and burnout of caregivers having autistic children with respect to the gender of the social support of parents. The second one is to examine the level of stress and burnout of caregivers having children with mental retardation in relation to the gender of social support of parents. Third one is to compare the level of stress among caregivers having autistic children and mental retardation. And the fourth one, to examine the relationship between the stress and burnout among caregivers having autistic children and mental retardation. Hypothesis: the first one is stress among caregivers is not affected by type of disability of the child and the social support of parents, personal characteristics via children size, age, gender, and other handicaps. Second one, parental burnout is not influenced by social support of parents, type of disability, and the social support of parents, personal characteristics via uh, children's size, age, gender, and other handicaps. Third one, stress among caregivers is not influenced by social support of parents, the type of disability, and a caregiver's background, age, education, occupation, family history, spouse side, family history, or children. And the fourth one is the parental burnout is influenced by the social support of parents, type of disability, and caregiver's background, age, education, occupation, family history, spouse side, family history, and children's size and family income. Next, social support is not influenced by social support of parents, type of disability, and the social support of parents' personal characteristics
Untitled.
were children's size,
Huh?
age, gender, and other
Yeah,
handicaps.
Untitled.
Next, social support is not influenced by social sort of parents' type of disability and caregivers' background via
Untitled,
age,
brother.
education, occupation, family
Untitled.
history, spouse side family history, children size, and family income. And the
Sorry.
last one is there is no relationship between
Or
stress and burnout among caregivers of autistic and mental retardation, or that we call as intellectual disability. And also, this research was carried out in Hyderabad and Secunderabad, twin cities, and the universe is the twin cities. I'm sorry, twin cities major. We have taken the universe like the institutions where the mothers of the disabled child or special needs children will come to this for the services. So the major organizations like government and private organizations, which are there in we have chosen the four of them. One is the National Institute for the Empowerment of Persons with Intellectual Disability, that was formerly known as NIMH, and Care for Autism, Thakur Hari Prasad Institute, and Swikarupkar are selected for this universe. The sample size is um, the 200 people have taken as a sample size, and the 100 members having children with autism and 100 members having children with mental retardation. Selection of the tool selected for this from two studies of stress among caregivers and the parental burnout. The parental stress, the, I mean, the parental stress is taken from the LA research was conducted to assess stress among caregivers. M. Dardik and Dardas M. Hamad, 2013, conducted a study with parents of autistic. I'm sorry. Children on the psychometric features of the parenting stress index. So the parenting stress index was taken from the Ms. M. Dardik and M. Dardas M. Ahmad, and parental burnout was taken from Isabel Roston and Mary Emily Reyes and Maura Mikolzak, 2017, conducted a study on very parents to assess parental burnout. And social support was taken from, for assessing the social support available to the mothers, a 12-item measure devised by Zimet, and Farley, 1988 was used. So, based on this parental burnout, social support, and parental stress, the three of them were taken in our questionnaire. Analysis of data. In order to analyze data, statistical software SPSS V26 was used. Cross tabulations were made for presentation of profile of the children and mothers, followed by multivariate analysis for testing of the hypothesis and for the presentation of the results. And also descriptive statistical measures, mean and SD standard deviations were computed to present the stress, burnout, and social support experienced by mothers. And also inferential statistics called two-way ANOVA was computed to significance of mean variations and in interactions effects of independent variables on the dependent variables. Uh, and there was a scheme of this is chapter 1 is introduction, chapter 2 is review of literature, chapter 3 research design, chapter 4 stress and burnout among mothers with children autism and mental retardation, intellectual disability, and chapter 5 is perceived social support among mothers with children autism and mental retardation, intellectual disability. Now, chapter 4 and 5 is we have discussed. Now we have taken the results interpretation and we have divided into two parts, chapter 4 and chapter 5. uh, the stress and burnout among mothers with children autism and mental retardation, like stress and burnout was given in the chapter 4, and social support, perceived social support among the mother was given in the chapter 5. So because it's like we have got a lot of information on that, so we have divided that and we put that in chapter 4 and 5. And chapter 6 is the discussion. Now, whatever the interpretation we have done, we have done the discussion on it. And chapter 7 is the findings, the major findings, implications, and the conclusion. And chapter 8 is references. In part B, in the research methodology, we have given the profile of the respondents, and in that section 1, we have profile of the social support of parents, and the section 2 is mother's profile is given in this. Now, coming to the chapter 4, whatever the data collected from the sample, so we have put that information here. As firstly, we have seen the burnout and the stress was given in this, and in the chapter 5, the social support was taken. Now, there are 4 sections in this chapter. One is the parental stress by child, personal characteristics, parental stress by mother, personal characteristics, and parental burnout by children's characteristics, and parental burnout by caregivers' characteristics. That means mother's characteristics. So the stress is divided, and the stress is explained according to the child's characteristics and the mother's characteristic, and the burnout is also explained by like that. So here we have separated like this, and according to the child, according to the mother, the stress as explained in a tables like this. Um, so here, the parental stress by social support of parents, personal characteristics are explained. The descriptive of parental stress by type of child and size of children. Now, the type of child. So this, the parental distress, parental child dysfunctional interaction, and difficult child as characteristics of parental stress were all significantly affected by a kind of care. Mental
Clement,
retardation.
Clement,
Yes,
Clement.
yes.
See, we are not able to see your PPT. PPT is not shown to us. Are you showing us the PPTs?
Yes, ma'am.
But none of the PPTs we have seen yet. Sorry for the
Oh,
sorry for the.
no. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for letting me know
Kindly
that.
see that, because I feel that you are showing the PPTs, but it is not shown.
I thought like the PPTs.
You have to share your PPTs.
Start sharing this.
శ్రీధర్ సార్ మీరు మ్యూట్ చేయండి సార్ కొంచెం. శ్రీధర్ సార్ మీది మైక్ కొంచెం మ్యూట్ చేయండి. శ్రీధర్ సార్ kindly mute sir. Yeah. Clement sir, you kindly share your slides.
Okay, ma'am, I'm trying that.
Sorry for the interruption, but I need to ask this. Now you can.
Yeah, that's right, ma'am. Yeah.
In fact, I was thinking that why Clement is not showing the slides.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought like once, because I only see the presentation here, so I didn't see. I'm
You
sorry.
need to share those here. Just see. Yes, now we can see your slides. Chapter 4.
Okay. Okay, I'm
We are
sorry.
into the 21st slide, and none of the slides we could see. So just very quickly go from first to the last to 21st. Just quickly show all the slides.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Ganesh.
Okay, this my first introduction. I just gave a brief introduction about the stress, burnout, and coping mechanism like social support.
Quickly. Yeah.
And the review of literature, there are 4 contents we have explained. The first content is about the influence stress, and the second was determinants of stress, and the third one is the studying coping skills, and the fourth one is link between the stress and the coping methods. Research methodology, we have 2 parts. One part is the research design, and second part is the respondents profiles. And my research methodology is design is a descriptive and analytic research approach. And then statement of the problem is like having autistic and mental retardation children presents unique problems for mothers the current study, which compares stress levels among caregivers of children with mental retardation and autism, will shed information on mothers' stress, burnout, aspirations in Twin Cities. And then I have four objectives here um, about the level of stress and burnout of caregivers and the level of stress and burnout of caregivers having children with mental retardation. One is with autism and one is with mental retardation, and the comparing the level of stress among caregivers having autistic and mental retardation, and also examining the relationship between stress and burnout. These are the four
brother.
objectives, and I have seven hypotheses. The first one is among stress among caregivers is not affected by type of disability of the child and social support of parents' personal characteristic. And the parental burnout is not influenced by social support of parents' type of disability and social support. And the stress among caregivers is not influenced by social support of parents' type of disability and caregivers' background. And the fourth one is parental burnout is not influenced by social support of parents,
Yes,
type
brother.
of disability, and caregivers' background
Chap brother.
via age education. Social support is not influenced by social support of parents, type of
ఇవన్నీ
disability, and
సింపుల్ ఇవ్వాలి
also
బ్రదర్.
social support is not
పెద్దోళ్ళే కదా,
influenced by
పెద్దోళ్ళే కదా
social support
పిల్లలు.
of parents, type of disability, and caregivers' background.
10 కిలోలు
And
దాటింటారా?
there is no relationship between stress and burnout
10 కిలోలు
among
దాటింటారా పిల్లలు?
caregivers of autistic and mental retardation.
10 కేజెస్.
So these are the hypotheses.
అంటే
I
5 కేజెస్
have
ఉంటారా చిన్న పిల్లలు?
a research carried out in Hyderabad, Secunderabad, and also universe was explained here. The major
Indian
institutions,
institutes.
the government and the private, which work for the special needs children.
తీసుకోవచ్చు.
That is, we selected the National Institute for the Empowerment of Persons with Intellectual Disability and also
ఇదే
Care
టైంలో
for
తెలుసా
Autism,
మీకు ఆ టాబ్లెట్స్?
Thakur Hariprasad and Sweka Upka.
ఎట్లా వేసుకోవాలో తెలుసా అంటున్నా.
And sample size, we have taken the 200 people sample size from four institutions, 100 members having children with autism and 100 members having childon with mental
ఒక్క నిమిషం brother,
retardation.
నేను
That's called as
ఒక
intellectual
లెక్చర్
disability.
ఆన్లైన్ లెక్చర్లో
And selection
పాల్గొంటున్నా.
of tool, we have selected our tool is
ఒక
with,
ఒక
the
15
tool is
మినిట్స్లో నేను మాకు
considered
ఫోన్
with
చేసి ఆ
parental
చిన్నపిల్లల
stress
క్వాంటిటీస్
and
కనుక్కొని చెప్తాను
parental
నేను.
burnout and social support. And this parental stress was taken from M. Dardick and Dardas M. Hammer 2013, which is conducted on parental stress index, and parental burnout is taken from Isabel Roskip et al. 2017, and social support for assess social support available for the mothers is 12 item measure devised by Zimet, Dalm, Zimet, and Fairley. 1998 was used. So with this, the questionnaire was taken like standardized questionnaire was taken for this study. And the analysis of data, so we use the SPSS, cross tabulations, and also we have used the descriptive statistical measures, and also inferential statistics, two-way ANOVA, Cronbach alpha coefficients were computed to test the reliability of scales adapted in the study. And scheme of thesis here, chapter 1 is introduction, chapter 2 is review of literature, chapter 3 is research design, chapter 4 stress and burnout among mothers having children. Now chapter 4 and 5 were interpretation was given. Now interpretation was divided into two chapters, chapter 4 and 5. In the chapter 4 we have interpreted the stress and burnout, and chapter 5 we have interpreted social support among the mothers, and chapter 6 is discussion of the results, and chapter 7 is major findings, implications, conclusions, and the chapter 6 is references. This is the scheme of thesis. And in the research methodology, we have a profile of respondents. So in this profile of respondents, section 1 and section 2, section 1 is explains about the social support of parents, and section 2 is mother's profile was explained there. And chapter 5 is the chapter 5, and we have explained about the stress and burnout. The interpretation was done on chapter 1 in the 4. So there are 4 sections in that. The first section is parental stress by child personal characteristic, and second section is parental stress by mother personal characteristic, and third one is parental burnout by children's characteristic, and parent burnout by caregivers characteristic. I'm sorry. So chapter 4 was explain about these four sections. uh, Majorly talk about the parental stress by child's characteristic and mother's characteristic, and parental burnout by child's characteristic and mother's characteristic. So here goes. Here we have a table. I did not put the table, but here I'm just showing this descriptive of parental stress by type of child. Now the type of child is why I'm saying is type of child is a type is autism or a mental retardation. So any type of the type of child and size of the children in the family. So therefore, so parental distress, parental child dysfunctional interaction, and difficult child as characteristics of parental stress were all significantly affected by the kind of kid, that is mental retardation or autism. Surprisingly, the children's size in the family had no effect on parental stress levels. Similarly, neither type of child nor the children's size had significant impact on it. And descriptive of parental stress by type of child and sex of children. Here also the results, uh, the parental stress were significantly affected by the kind of kid, and surprisingly, children's sex had no effect on parental stress, save for problematic parent-child interactions, and similarly, except for parental distress, the kind of kid and the sex of children had no significant effects on the personal characteristics. And also we have descriptive of parental stress by type of child, type of education of the children. Here also parental distress, parental child dysfunctional interaction, and difficult child. Characteristic of parental stress were significantly affected by the kind of kid, mental retardation, and autism. Surprisingly, here also we have children's education had no discernible effects on parental stress. And another table, descriptive of parental stress by type of child and other handicaps of children. Here also, the characteristic of parental stress were significantly affected by the kind of kid. Surprisingly, the other children's disabilities had no discernible impact on parental stress. So therefore, on the first section, if you see the status of hypothesis, the first hypothesis that stress among caregivers is not influenced by social support of parents' type of disability and the social support of parents' personal characteristics, children size, age, gender, and other handicaps was examined in this section. Therefore, the null hypothesis is accepted while the alternate hypothesis is rejected. Stress among caregivers is affected by social support of parents' type of impairment and social support of parents' personal characteristics such as children's size, gender, and other handicaps. So this is the first section. We go to the second section, part B, that is the parental stress by caregivers background. So parental burnout is not influenced by social support of parents' type of disability and social support of parents' personal characteristic, children's size, age, gender, and other handicaps. It was hypothesis. So here in this section, section 2, we have parental stress by type of child and mother's age. Now the mother's age here, difficult child as characteristics of parental stress were significantly affected by the kind of kid. Surprisingly, save for parent-child dysfunctional, mother's age had no significant effect on parental stress characteristics. And the second one is descriptive of parental stress by type of child and mother's education. Here also parental distress, parental child dysfunctional interaction, and difficult child as characteristic of parental stress were significantly affected by the kind of kid. Surprisingly, save for parent-child dysfunctional, mom's education had no significant effect on parental stress or characteristics. And then if we take the descriptive of parental stress by type of child and mother's occupation also, if we take that. So this here also, child as a characteristic of parental stress were all significantly affected by a kind of kid. Surprisingly, save for parent-child dysfunctional mom's work had no significant effect on parental stress characteristics. And descriptive of parental stress by type of child and family known for having special needs children. Here in the parental distress, parental child dysfunctional interaction, and difficult child as characteristics of parental stress were all significantly affected by the kind of kid. Surprisingly, here also we have a special needs child in the household had no effect on parental stress dimensions such as parent child dysfunctional and parental distress. Descriptive of parental stress by type of child and spouse side family known for having a special needs children. Now this is also parental distress or parental child dysfunctional interaction, and difficult child as a characteristics of parental stress were all significantly affected by the kind of kid. Surprisingly, having special needs children in the home did not have a significant effect on parental stress aspects, parent child dysfunction, and parental distress. And also, we have descriptive of parental stress by type of child and children size in the family. Here also, we have significantly affected the child kind of kid, but surprisingly, children size in the household had no effect on parental stress aspects such as parent child dysfunction or parental suffering. And descriptive of parental stress by type of child and family income. Here also, surprisingly, monthly family income had no effect on parental stress aspects such as parent-child dysfunction and parent suffering. Now, if we see so for this section, if you see the hypothesis, status of hypothesis, in this part, the null hypothesis that stress among caregivers is not influenced by social support of parents, type of disability and caregivers, background of age, education, occupation, family history, spouse side, family history, children size, family income, was tested. It was interesting to note from the preceding tables that type of disability of the child yielded significant effects on stress among caregivers, and the interactions effects on the mother's personal and familial characteristics did not yield significant effects, indicating that null hypothesis is accepted and the alternative hypothesis is rejected. Now, part C is for the caregivers burnout by social support of parents background. It was hypothesized that parental burnout is not influenced by social support of parents' type of disability and social support of parents' personal characteristics via children's size, age, gender, and other handicaps. In order to test the hypothesis, means and SDs were computed for all the dimensions of mother's burnout. Further, to know the significance of the effects of social support of parents' type of disability and other personal characteristics of social support of parents, ANOVA was computed. So there are three dimensions of mother's burnout, namely emotional distancing, emotional exhaustion, and personal accomplishment. So based on this, we have made tables. We interpreted the tables like this. So descriptive of mother's burnout by type of social support of parents, disability, and the children's size in the family. The type of child, mental retardation and autism, had a substantial impact on parental burnout. Dimensions of parental burnout include emotional detachment, emotional weariness, and personal accomplishment. Surprisingly, the children's size in the household had no effect on the characteristics of parental burnout, emotional detachment, emotional weariness, or personal success. Similarly, parental burnout was unaffected by the type of child or the size of the size of the children in the family. and descriptive of mother's burnout by type of social support of parents, disability, and sex of the children. The type of child had a substantial impact on parental burnout. Dimensions of parental burnout include emotional detachment, emotional weariness, and personal accomplishment. Surprisingly, parental burnout dimensions, emotional estrangement, emotional tiredness, and personal success were not affected by social support of parents' gender. Similarly, neither the type of child nor the gender of the child had significant influence on it. And descriptive of mother's burnout by type of social support for parents, disability, and type of education of the children. The type of child had a substantial impact on parental burnout. Dimensions of parental burnout include emotional detachment, emotional weariness, and personal accomplishment. Surprisingly, parental burnout characteristics, emotionally detachment, emotional awareness, and personal success were not affected by child education. Child education. Now, child education is if you go to the normal school or a special school, that's a child education type of education. And descriptive of mother's burnout by type of social support of parents, disability, and other handicaps of the children. Now, the child, if he has another handicaps also, so these also, according to the dimension of parental burnout, include emotional, had a substantial impact on parental burnout, and other disabled family members had no significant effect. Other disability, other family members had no significant effect on parental burnout dimensions, emotional attachment, and emotional weariness, which was surprising. However, it has a huge impact on the burnout of parents who have achieved personal success. The status of hypothesis, if we take about this section, the burnout, it was hypothesized that the parental burnout is not influenced by social support of parents, the type of disability of the child, and the social support of parents' personal characteristics via children age, children size, gender, and other handicaps. Now, coming to part D, section D, caregivers burnout by caregivers background, by mother's background. It was hypothesized that the parental burnout is not influenced by social support of parents' type of disability and caregivers background via age, education, occupation, family history, spouse side, family history, children size, family income. So, in order to test, okay, I'm just checking. So in this section, if we go here, descriptive of mother's age, the type of child had a substantial impact on parental burnout. And here, surprisingly, the age of the mother has a big impact on the emotional distancing category of parental burnout. However, it had no influence on parental burnout characteristics of emotional weariness or personal accomplishment. However, it is a huge impact on the burnout of parents who have achieved personal success. Children with mental retardation and also with autism also increased parental concern than those 3 to 4 children among women with the children. That means like the parents who has more children had a more impact on their stress levels. And also parental stress by caregivers personal characteristics. Here if we see the mother's the age, according to the age, mother's age, the mothers who are between the 23 to 32 years reported higher levels of parental anguish than the mothers who had age of 53 to 60 years and also 43 to 50 years. And if you see, according to the autistic children also, they have the mothers whose age is 43 to 50 years uh, experience more parental anguish than the caregivers of autistic children like 22 to 30 years. And if we see the parental burnout by caregivers, the mothers of mental retard, the burnout, emotionally distancing than the mothers of mental disability. So emotional isolation here, parental, and the social support by child characteristics. If you see the gender of the child, the female child had more social support than a male child. And then if we see the social support by caregivers, the mother's characteristic, if you see the age according to the ages, then uh, 53 and 60 had more social support than those age of 23. So these are the major findings, and the implications are children diagnosed with mental retardation or autism are the most underrepresented demographic in this study. So the findings of this study are anticipated to aid in a better understanding of issues that caregivers of autistic children and mental retardation, disability confront in general, and their stress levels, burnout, and social support in particular. And scope for future research in India in general, the Telangana in particular, we are the topic of this thesis is relatively unexplored. As such, future research may be able to focus on wide range of the themes. The conclusion, the data analysis and interpretation of the primary data from the mothers we have taken from India. So Hyderabad, Twin Cities, for only for the autism and mental retardation. So the many people having autism and mental retardation, on the other hand, can thrive with the right care and social support. Additional support network, parental support are also beneficial to caregivers of autistic and mental retardation children. So that's my thesis, sir.
Yeah, it is good, good, Mr. Clement. Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
I think yeah, you have exhaustively covered almost all aspects related to the topic of research. Now
Thank you, sir.
I request SF Chandrasekhar to respond for half a minute. I think
I
the
think I
study
can
is up to the
extend
mark.
the.
SF,
Yes, sir.
can you? What's your response?
I think it's a very vigorously done study, very intensively done study.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
my personal impression is that this should be one of the rarest thesis on autism and mental retardation in our country, I would say.
yeah.
And then
It
he
is
has
good.
definitely gone so deep into that subject. Actually, there was, in spite of having that short schedule, but that bears the evidence of his hard work and then high involvement in doing such research. I think that's a good work he has done. I have literally gone through page by page, at least in two drafts I had gone through. Normally, I would have gone through six, seven drafts of thesis, but for Clement, I think this is the second draft I had cleared. Very vigorously done work. Good work, Clement.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, since the supervisor has expressed his satisfaction, I think Mr. Clement can submit his thesis to the university for the award of PhD. And
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Clement,
Yes, sir.
you please send somebody tomorrow to collect the certificate. Okay.
Okay, sir.
We will
Okay,
give,
sir.
we will give the certificate related to the pre-submission seminar. And
Okay,
this
sir.
plagiarism check is over. Is it everything is over?
Yes, sir. It is over, sir. It's finished, sir. It's got 9%, sir.
No?
Plagiarism.
Yeah, now
9%,
the
sir.
thesis is ready for submission.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thesis is ready for submission. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
So
Yes,
now
sir.
you can, yeah, now you can start the process for the submission of your thesis and collect
Okay,
the
sir.
certificates from the department.
Okay, sir.
So wish you all the best. If anybody would like to comment, you please. Dr. Ram, Would you like to
Yeah,
comment anything? We have very
uh,
short span of time.
yeah. As Chandrasekhar sir told that the study is meticulously carried out, but I have one concern is that I think
Please,
Clement
video,
has to.
you on your video. We want to see you.
Yeah, yeah. It is on, sir.
Yeah, but you are not visible.
No, no. Okay,
Okay, you
okay,
please,
sir.
please go ahead.
Yeah. My concern is that I think they have to relook into the chapterization process, sir, because the chapterization is somewhat unique. I can say it is different from other studies, but he has to separate research methodology and socio-economic background details.
I think that was purposefully done because the